Today we'll be discussing on how you could earn as a co-host. Okay, basically on short-term rentals, you could call it the STR concept of leveraging other people's properties or properties as a whole and being a co-host. Now, how you could actually do this is one of these ways is by co-hosting it on Airbnb. You could find a particular host, help them up in management, reviews, feedbacks, testimonials, and handling bookings as a whole. Obviously you'll have to comply with certain systems, having legal features too, but in a major power, right, you'll have the host setting it up for himself, the property as a whole, right, and then you give out your services, as in you are being the co-host, right. There can be multiple co-hosts on Airbnb, but what happens here is that your percentage, the fixed, it could be fixed, it could be a percentage per booking or per booking per night. It could also be a cleaning fee as such. So this really depends on different motives, to be honest, being a co-host. Now, what happens over here is that you help out the host, you take off pressure. Okay, this means that the host is earning a passive income while you actually offer your services. Now, obviously, there are a lot of ways in this generation we are today, especially in 2025, we could leverage AI over here. Using AI, right, for automation or for client feedback, posting out reviews, maybe posting out content based on your property or the properties that you co-host. This could be done better. Obviously you could do it by yourself, but having using different softwares. Okay, there are free softwares available in the market. Now obviously I can't list them out because of it's not a sponsorship, but if you research online, you can use different AI models to find out what you could search. You could ask ChatGPT to scrape data and to find free softwares. What happens over here is that using Airbnb, right, one of the platforms would be Airbnb, where you could co-host. Okay, you can co-host multiple properties and then have people under you and pay them. Okay, this is one of the strategies I have used on one. But what you could do is, uh, the income potential of what I have is currently small. So obviously based in India, right, the Airbnb app services obviously differ based on financial terms in India. But if you stay abroad, that means in the UK or the US, you will definitely find out there are much more better features available. So taking this, right, you can definitely be an Airbnb entrepreneur or short-term rental king. You could be an STR. Like, the amount of potential is massive. Okay, all you have to do is just learn to co-host, get experienced with one property, and then offer your services as a whole. Okay, but this way, instead of having a one-time fixed fee, right, on managing services, you could actually take in a commission based on each booking. That means, like, imagine you're getting around 5 to 10% or 15% per booking of a certain property. Okay, let's say it could be a duplex, or it could be a unit, a particular unit, right, and maybe you're earning around, let's say there's $100, okay, and you're earning around $15 to $30. That is a huge thing. Okay, because let's say the occupancy rate is around 70% and you will be earning around, let's say 30 into, let's say, around 20 days. Okay, you'll be earning around $600, which is a huge amount on a single property, if that's the case, right. If you're trying to go into a multiplier, adding a multiplier over here, which means that you could add more units or more properties. Okay, co-host, offer your co-hosting services. Now it differs in India especially, right. These services do differ, and it's a bit unfair, as Indian co-hosts don't have these features because they have to get manually paid by tracking it using a CRM platform, or using Excel or a spreadsheet, which is a huge hassle for me, to be honest. But I hope so Airbnb implements this soon. Similarly, for booking.com, you could be added as a manager. Okay, so what happens here is that you manage the property for somebody else. This is a huge thing because you gain a lot of experience by managing someone's property. Real estate, especially if you are young and if you want to get into real estate, right, this is the best way you could learn, by handling like other people's properties. Okay, you could offer your own property management services or short-term rental services. Okay, and but you could actually, through active engagement within the property, right, by handling reviews or managing bookings, automating reviews, or automating chat features, okay, within you and the client, or you and the customer who's going to book your property or the unit. This way it would handle, having that quick chat, right, feature, being available 24/7 is definitely a big bonus. Why? It's because Airbnb considers this as a super host, okay, feature. Like you are actually putting the effort into getting customers or getting engaged with customers. So this is a huge, great benefit. So I would suggest you actually learn about this. Use ChatGPT to actually learn how to create your own system for free. Do not go for paid stuff currently when you're starting out, but gradually as you handle more and more co-host, more properties, try to get into an agreement. I would definitely suggest you do not I would suggest you to actually create an agreement with you and the host, and as an offline agreement, okay, so that you keep it under legal terms just in case. Okay, an agreement is something that you sign. It's basically a paperwork just to say that you and the host have decided on a certain thing. Keep multiple copies so that things are legible in case things cause an inconvenience. This way, right, you are handling multiple properties. As soon as you handle more than 10 or 15 properties, right, that means, let's say you add a multiple of 600 into 10, that's around 6k dollars. That's $6,000 a month. That's a huge thing. And in a year, that's like around 70k from 10 15 properties. That's a huge thing. Okay, the potential is massive over here. So make sure you learn how to manage customers, learn how to handle bookings, canceling bookings, handling reviews or feedbacks, chat features. These are the main. Okay, being active around customers, right, means that you're listening to them and you're actually listening to their feedback. When you listen to people, right, okay, they'll definitely feel like they don't only feel, but they actually know they're valued. Your feedback is valued, which means that they'll give you better ratings. So through active property management, right, of maybe one or two units or a few properties, this way you slowly scale. After scaling, right, you gradually get you could put maybe have an automation system. Okay, automation systems include like auto bookings or handling multiple booking calendars. There are like there's a software called iCal. You could definitely check it out. Okay, so this is one of the software that I have checked on. So if you're having like multiple openings, right, or multiple property listings on booking.com or Airbnb, this is one way of handling it. Then you could handle chats. Okay, another thing would be handling, I would definitely suggest to keep a separate business phone, okay, specifically for business, so that you do not mix up personal context with business context, especially when you're having handling with the host. Okay, having a direct contact to the host on an easy access would be definitely better. Why? Because you can categorize your list on WhatsApp. Okay, this would be one of the biggest things I would suggest, so that you categorize and keep things clutter free. That's it for my advice for the day on Airbnb short-term rentals and how you could earn by co-hosting. Obviously, if you do this right, and yeah, right. But the more you do right, and if you do it in the right manner through discipline, and it's not like it's guaranteed that you will get a property host, your property booked. It's not like that. You have to actually find the right property, make sure that it's actually, maybe it could be, for an example, it could be near a certain landmark or the airport, right? Usually rentals near the airports and all, they get highly booked. But yeah, these properties, right, if you find a host or if you network with some host over there, then it's more of an asset to you. Because getting or purchasing or renting out such properties, right, especially subletting properties, would be another thing. But it's really expensive. Okay, so instead of going for something like that, if you can't afford a property, or in case you don't want to buy a property but you still want to earn, especially in the real estate sector, through this would be one way, would be co-hosting or managing somebody else's property by offering management service or short-term rental management services. Okay, this would be a great thing. It's slowly getting into consideration. The only thing is that it's a bit hard, and it's hard to get clients, to be honest. So it's hard to get hosting, because most of the Airbnb hosts, right, they usually tend to handle it by themselves, or they get an automation done. But if you get stuff like this done, or if you want to offer it co-hosting, you could definitely target elder ages, like people groups of maybe above 50 or 60. Because there are people who find this as a hassle. Most youngsters would take in decision making, and they would actually do it by themselves, ages from 20 to 30. But it's very rarely that you find it in that certain age group. But if you are young and if you want to offer such services, I suggest you to go for a higher tier age group. Okay, that would be above 50, above 40, 50, because they are the ones who you could say a bit lack a bit in technological information. Obviously there are people who definitely know about technology. It's not that I'm not trying to create a bias, or try to get a bit discriminative. I'm being very honest that it's just that they find it more of an hassle. Okay, obviously if newer technology comes in, once we get older we'll get new tech, right? So it will be a hassle for us to adopt. This is what I'm trying to say. So offer your service to the right target audience, and you'll gradually get, even if you get your first properties, right? I mean, like, you could get in your first rental unit, or maybe co-hosting for someone. Do not just try to scale right there. Actually try to, learn, experience it, and then gradually scale out. That's it for this podcast, and I'll catch up in the next one.